Welcome everybody to another show of the Sports Bar Analyst in the nosebleed section. Your host Joe Anderson, your guest Jaquan and Paulinho, and I'm handing over to Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, thanks for the intro.
You're welcome.
So this one's not going to be long, hopefully. Not much to go over tonight. The main thing, as you can see by Paul's background, is Julio Jones, and everybody else has been talking about this whole situation about him wanting out of Atlanta. Atlanta hasn't been the greatest in the recent years since Super Bowl run and everything. The Super Bowl fail, I should say. And now this whole situation's come out as far as him leaving, and now the whole thing with Shannon Sharpe being undisputed with Skip Bayless and the phone call. So just to go over real quick for those you guys that didn't really hear it, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless were talking undisputed. Shannon Sharpe called Julio Jones and started asking him, and supposedly, he didn't know he was on live air while he was doing this. So if you listen to the video, Shannon saying, "Yeah, Julio, what's up with you in Atlanta? That situation, what's going on?" And Julio responded, "Yo, man, I'm out of there. Like, I'm done with that." Like, so as he was saying that, Skip Bayless was just like, asked him if he wants to go to Dallas. So Shannon said, "Hey, like, where you thinking about going?" He said, "Hey, listen, man, me. It is what it is. Like, I want to go ball. Like, I want to, blah blah." So then when he said, so Shannon said, like, "Oh, so what do you think about Dallas?" He said, "I ain't trying to go there. I'm trying to win." So, so I heard that, he started laughing, and Skip was like, "Well, there you go. You heard it there first." And Shannon was like, Shannon started laughing too. He was like, "All right, bro, like, we gotta go. We on live TV right now. I just want to get your thoughts on it. Unfiltered. Everybody was calling me out my credibility. That's just, I didn't know." So like, so when he said that, you kind of heard Julio's voice kind of drop, like, "Oh," like he didn't know he was on live TV. So I mean, there's now like legal trouble possibly facing them. So it was like a misdemeanor charge that could restrict media access and games between the Falcons and Fox. I think it was Julio Jones and Shannon Sharpe could face up to I think they're $2,000 or $2,000 fine for Shannon Sharpe or Julio Jones. Like, they don't got that in their back pocket. They won't, they won't face, it's a and or jail time. It's not gonna, jail time's not gonna happen. I'm gonna put them in, but like, it is a crazy situation. Even before the whole situation with him wanting to leave Atlanta, and I know, Jay, that you posted a room before saying the Falcons saying they will probably take a second round pick for him.
That's
So
what I'm hearing right now.
yeah, so I mean, I just want to get like I said, hopefully it won't be too long, but just some quick thoughts on our situation, what we think about him leaving in general, and as far as this whole Shannon Sharpe undisputed thing. So, Paul, you go first. What are your thoughts on it?
It's crazy, and I think it puts players in a bind now, where when they talk to anybody that's their boy or they're close with, they're friends with on the show, they're gonna have to be careful now. They have to ask, "Am I live on the air? Or what are we doing here?" Because the fact that this is not, it's not a good look. It put both of them, and mostly Julio, in a very tough spot. We don't know what's going on in the background between him and the Falcons. What are they talking about? Because here's the one thing we always need to remember is, with player contracts, debt money, and cap savings, a lot of it comes into play pre-June 1st and post-June 1st. So that was something I was holding on to a lot when regarding Deshaun Watson. As I was saying, he's not getting traded at all until after June 1st. Everybody's like, why? I was like, because of the cap savings. There's no way Hughes is going to trade him before June 1st and eat 20 million in dead money just for him. He's not on the team. Post June 1st, that drops down to like 5 million. Same thing with Julio. Julio, if he gets traded before June 1st, right? He's dead money for 23 million. And they don't get no cap savings. They go into red for 200,000. If they trade him post June 1st, he's only on the books for 7.7 million. And they get a cap savings of 15 million. Now, who's gonna trade for him? We don't know, because you need the cap space and you need the money, or sorry, not the money, the equity on what the Falcons want for him. Rumor was before they wanted a first rounder, but now they're changing their minds to a second rounder. So we'll see who has the cap space and who has the draft picks to trade for him.
So Paul, what are your like? So I know you give us like a lot of like the facts and figures of the situation, but like you personally, like, what is your like take on both things? Like, how do you feel about him leaving Atlanta? Where do you think he's gonna go? And then also like, how do you feel about the whole Shannon Sharpe situation, calling him on national television? Do you think it was scripted? Do you think it was unprofessional? Like, what do you think?
In regards to him leaving, it sucks because he built his career there. That's where he's from. And but the thing is, it's just and it's a different topic, but this is all money managed by the executives and everything, and making sure everything is done right. Unfortunately, so much money went on him and Matt Ryan that there's like no room for anybody else right now. They can't even sign their draft picks. So they're moving on from Julio. I really hope he goes to a contender. He can win something, be more competitive than he's been with the Falcons. Unfortunately, they haven't been that competitive before. In regards to the Shannon Sharpe interview, like I said before, it's going to change the game in regards to how players do take phone calls with people they know in the media, like a Shannon Sharpe, like former players. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like if I played and then like now I'm in the booth or somewhere and I call somebody who's currently playing, he's gonna be like, "Am I on the air?" Or let me call you back or something like that.
Right.
What time is it? Oh, you on your show right now? No, call me back later. Because they're in a tough spot. You got legal action going on here. I mean, the money's nothing to both of these guys. The money's nothing.
Yeah, not at all.
It's
like
just a fact.
$2,000 to Julio Jones.
Yeah, it's nothing. He'll probably pay for Shannon Sharpe too. He's like, I got you, Shannon.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he put him out there and then on live air said he's not going to the Cowboys either. It sucks for the Cowboys, but
I mean, you think about it, the Cowboys can't really share the ball anyway with them. I mean, you think about it, right? They already have Michael Gallup, they already have Amari Cooper, CD Lamb. Like they can't throw the ball to anybody else. Like where are you gonna fit Julio Jones in that? And if you do, who are you moving away from? Like Michael Gallup, I guess. Like you got to move off the CD or Amari. So it's
I know, but you know how the Cowboys are. We get everybody.
Oh,
we got Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones goes after everybody.
Of course. Of course. It's definitely it's a situation that, like, again, when we sat back and kind of let everybody else and let a lot of other things come out, and a lot of people have already commented on it, so we're going to get our thoughts, and I know we're going to keep talking about it as it goes further. But Jaquan, I'll kick it to you. You tell me your thoughts on the situation before I say my piece.
Well, I'm going by the Shefty timeline that he kind of tweeted out after all this stuff happened. So I'm gonna start there. This has been months in the works, apparently. So it's not like for the Falcons and for Julio, it's not new news. And I'm assuming for those surrounding Julio, this is not new news. So I can't really say, because I forgot where I read it, but I had read that they were looking to try to move him in the draft, but they were looking for a first round pick in return.
Yep.
Couldn't get it, obviously, because of the fact that last year was all COVID and people were really holding on to their draft picks versus players, because capital was gold this year and next year. So there's that portion of it. I think that's where the second round pick chatter came from, where it's like, okay, we know we can't get a first, but we definitely could get a second.
Right.
Like second, maybe a player, et cetera, et cetera. So from that perspective, I don't feel like it should be as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. I understand why it's a big deal, but I don't think it's a big deal. Because again, it's not like he said on the air that he's requesting a trade at that moment. It's not like he said on air. He didn't say anything on air that is new to anyone that is directly involved in the situation. Right? That's the first part of it. In terms of Shannon Sharpe doing it on a show, I get it, but I think that's the wrong show. Like, for example, when you have guys like Pat McAfee, right, who was the first guy to really get like multiple sit downs with Aaron Rodgers from a personal standpoint. A guy who, like today, was the guy who broke the Adam Vinatieri retirement thing because he has that relationship with players, but he does it on a platform that one, he owns. Let's keep it a stack. He owns that. But two, is not on a network, so it's not restricted to network rules and brand and red tape. So I think that even though I don't think the context and the content itself is negative, I think because Shannon Sharpe is in a situation where he's saying, I'm going to be my authentic self regardless, it clashes with, you know, the deals that Fox has with the NFL and its players, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think it was poor judgment, but I have no issue with Shannon Sharpe calling up Julio and be like, yo, they doubt my sources. Like, what's the word? I just don't think you do it on Undisputed.
Right.
I think you do it on Uncle Shay Shay. And you do it that way. If you're doing it that way, that's a very, because then they can't come after you from like a tampering standpoint. If you know, because I feel like that's where all this is coming from. It's the whole tampering thing. But because you did it on a Fox brand, and certain teams are going to feel like, oh, they're sabotaging us because Fox works for the NFL and the NFL wants Julio out of Atlanta, blah, blah. Like they can create a whole narrative out of this BS. So I just think it was poor judgment on Shannon Sharpe's part to do that at that moment. I don't think him doing it is an issue. It's just doing it on the show at that moment and not informing Julio that like, yo, I'm on air.
Right.
Because I think, too, you tarnish that relationship with the player if you do that. You know, like you can't freely call people because it's like, nah, Shannon, you only gonna use me for clicks.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to mess with you like that. Right. And that hurts you as a journalist or even as a broadcaster. But in terms of my thoughts about Julio leaving, I mean, you look at the money, it was sooner rather than later. I think that they have one of the better receiving cores, but when they gave him that money and they gave Matt Ryan that money, they sped up their own clock. So I mean, it's inevitable. I don't feel bad for him because, like Paul said, if the Chiefs and the Ravens and some of these other teams can basically turn off cap space on Madden and just sign whoever they want to sign, and their cap people can just do all this other stuff while having like $3 in cap space.
Right.
I'm sure Atlanta could have done something. There's something that could have been done, but the fact that they didn't do it, they put themselves in a situation. So I don't feel bad for them. I feel bad for fans. I don't feel bad for them.
You can't blame the players, man. If somebody says
he got his money,
if the team offers you 5 years, $100 million, you gonna turn that down?
Yeah, you're not gonna say no.
Hell
you're not gonna say no.
And the
People
guarantee.
call you selfish.
I mean, I don't know what he got, but I'm saying like.
I'm saying, but like people are gonna talk about, oh, why don't you restructure? Why don't you do this, that, and the third? Like, nah, bro, get your money. This is capitalism. Everybody want to complain. Everybody want to praise capitalism until it's used against them. Now, and
the other thing is you have to remember, like some of these players, depending on positions, the lifespan's short. There's a time span for them. Quarterbacks are the ones that I think can play the longest.
Yeah,
we've seen
they can make the sacrifice. Not to some of these skill players.
No, skill players, especially receivers. When you throw it down the middle and they're getting wrecked by like linebackers.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
They're not gonna do that for too long.
No. Get your money.
So the next part is like,
where do I think he'll go?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, where do you think he'll go? Where do you think he'll go? But also, do you guys believe that like, if he can stay healthy, like, do you believe he'll be like Julio of old, or like he won't be asked to do as much, but he'll still be like a great contributor? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, he doesn't have to necessarily be Atlanta Falcons prime of his career, Julio, put up like stupid numbers, but like going to a contender, if he can stay healthy, like, do you think he'll still be like a really effective player, or do you think like how we were saying before, we were talking before getting in the chat and everything before, as far as like how is it more so him being kind of banged up now or later in his career, or is it kind of like the play of Matt Ryan and they're spreading the ball around because of their offense? Like, what do you think?
Like,
Jay, go you
Go
first.
ahead, Jay.
That's a tough one because I think it's a combination. Like, yes, the body does get older. Yeah, he's probably been a little more nicked up recently than before. I think we all can admit that. But I also believe that, you put him with a younger, more spry quarterback and a decent run game where he's not asked to do as much and he's not asked to make those amazing catches. He can give you, top 15 production. He still has top 15 production in him. Does he have top 5? I don't know. Percentage-wise, advanced stats, he's still top 5.
Right.
So I think you open up, if you can get him where he's comfortable and you can compliment him, I still think he can give you top 15 numbers. I'm not going to say top 10, top 5, because honestly, I don't know. But definitely top 15.
Paul, what do you think?
Jay, what do you think he's going?
Oh God, I honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. It's gonna sound a little crazy. I think he's looking to see. He's either gonna go to the Titans, or he's gonna go wherever Aaron Rodgers ends up.
You were watching that AJ Brown videos, huh?
I've been watching a lot of AJ Brown stuff, but then even stepping away from it, like the fit makes sense.
It
makes sense.
Corey Davis,
yeah, like it makes sense, and with the Titans being a run dominant offense.
Yeah. You worked off the play action.
Yeah, like
no. I'm talking about salary cap space.
Football wise, it makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Football wise, it makes sense.
Okay.
I can't tell you salary cap. I can't worry about salary cap because again, when you see Kansas City making all the moves they make and they had $3 in cap space, I don't want to hear salary cap right now.
People can move around money.
Like people, you can move money. You can move money. Money can be negotiated.
Yeah. Like
it's a matter of does he fit in Tennessee? Absolutely, he does.
I'm sure.
Can Ryan Tannehill get him the ball? I think he can, but I mean, QBR says he can. I'll put it that way. His QBR says he can.
Based off the way they play their offense, he can. He's better. He's better than Corey Davis.
Yep. And again, clearly, Julio's better than Corey Davis. So it'll be an upgrade for them, and then it allows AJ Brown to just be unleashed on like a different sort of level, because it's like now you got to guard Derrick Henry running the ball. Now you got to guard Julio on the outside. Like you can't worry about anybody else, but you do the other guy's AJ Brown. So it's like, oh, okay, like that's a tough one. And it's just coincidental to me that like you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you have guys like Deshaun Watson who are, for all intents and purposes, not free agents, but expected to be moved. I can't not see, I heard Julio say he wants to play with Cam Newton. So, I mean, the Patriots are in play because of that and that alone.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to pass up playing with Aaron Rodgers. So I think both guys, I don't know if Denver has the cap to do it, but I think they have the equity to pull off both guys. And they still have young guys left. Do I think that makes them winners? No, because they still got to fix the defense. But that's a hell of an upgrade.
They'd be giving up some pieces, though, if you go to Denver. They definitely give a receiver, at least one of those receivers for sure, though.
Yeah.
You can't.
Probably Jerry.
Yeah. Paul, what are your thoughts on everything as far as, like, where you see him going? Do you think his career can be revitalized with a new system or a new town or everything? What do you think?
I'm gonna say this. Like I said earlier, there's a timeline and a time for players and positions. Wide receivers at this age, like in their 30s, they start to decline, especially around 32. He's at that age, but we have seen receivers that they still play beyond 32. Last year he was hurt. He only played 9 games, so I really can't say if he's going to decline or not. We don't know. We didn't get a full year out of him, so we don't know if last year was that's it and he got hurt and that's it,
Right.
or if that's the beginning of his decline. Yeah, his numbers probably percentage wise look great, but it's only 9 games and that's it. That's all you have to go off of. We didn't get a full season. So I don't know if he's going to go anywhere. He needs to go somewhere with a veteran quarterback, because I feel like with a young quarterback, he might get him like banged up even more. He'll throw the ball in like bad spots over his shoulder, down the middle, where instead of like on the sidelines, out. You know what I'm saying? So I think he needs to go with a veteran quarterback. That being said, he still has a chance to be there because Julio is one of those receivers. It's like ridiculously good. It's just, is he able to stave off Father Time? I don't know. We're not going to know that for 2 years when we see 2 full years out of him and see where he's at, if he's still producing or not. Regards to where I think he'd go, we need to keep in mind he wants to go to a winner.
Yeah, I know.
So that to me leaves the Broncos out of it because the Broncos are not winners right now.
That's why I said he'd go where Aaron Rodgers went. That's the caveat is Aaron Rodgers.
The 2 teams I was looking at are the Chargers and the Colts.
The Colts, I'd see more than the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean the Chargers are heading in the right direction, but I wouldn't exactly call them like major winners yet.
They're not, but
what you just said about the young quarterback thing.
I know.
Like you just kind of argued against your own point.
I know that's the thing. It's like I'm looking at the salary cap space and the teams that are there, and yeah, I agree. It goes against my argument, but if we look at the other teams, Jaguars, he's not going there. They're like in a rebuild process. Jets,
same argument. They're in the rebuild process.
Bengals, they just drafted a receiver and everything, so he's not there. Browns, they already got 2-star receivers.
I mean, but damn.
The Browns actually have like a lot of weapons at receiver, so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. The Broncos, like we said, they're rebuilding that. You got the Lions. I mean, they're not
rebuild.
They're not gonna touch
Let's
that
call
one.
it what it is. It's a rebuild.
Niners, we don't even know. Like I wanted to say the Niners, but my thing is, who's the quarterback? Jimmy G for how long? And then you got Trey Lance right there.
I mean that's supposedly one of the top destinations for him right now. That's like from what I read earlier today. It's like the Chargers or the Niners, and there's like 2 other teams mentioned. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Vegas.
But, I mean,
no.
They really on the list? I can't remember, but I mean, it wouldn't be.
I always seem to hear their name somewhere. That's why it's like
it wouldn't be necessarily a bad.
It wouldn't be, but the salary cap, they got to move money around for him.
Oh,
just like the Titans would.
Chucky's a mobster. I have no.
Yeah, come on.
Chucky's a don.
He'll go to a casino. He'll go to somewhere and like, hey, I need a couple million over here.
Yep, and they'll give it to him too.
Yeah, like it's it's a very interesting situation as far as like. So it's funny. I was trying to get I should have reached out to him, but like one of my half brother, he is a lifelong Falcons fan. And I wanted to get his take on the whole situation as far as like Julio leaving and just how he feels about everything going on. It's interesting because it's like, and I was talking to somebody, one of my other coworker of mine, and he was asking me the whole situation and what's going on and where he thinks I would think he would end up. And I was just saying kind of the same thing. I was like, it's tough to say. Like it's surprising that he's leaving because it's surprising on one hand because it's like when you see one of those lifelong guys, it's like, okay, he's been on the Falcons since forever. But then it's like, and at the same time, it's like he deserves to go out and go play for a contender and get his shot at the Super Bowl because once they lost the Super Bowl, they blew it. They should have honestly blown the team up, or at least like a year or two after blowing the team up. Like it's over. Like, and I think it's kind of contributed to. I honestly, personally, do not think Matt Ryan is that great of a quarterback. I'm not a big fan of him. I honestly just think that he has been lucky and blessed to have the complement of weapons he's had around him his entire career. When you go from an Alvin Crumpler and Roddy White to Julio Jones, he had Austin Hooper at tight end, and Calvin Ridley, and Hayden Hurst. Now you're getting Kyle Pitts. Like, you're just getting blessed with weapons, like, left and right. So it's like, I want to see what's going to be able to happen. I want to see what's going to happen with him. Julio moving on as far as where he's going to go in the future, where he's going to go this offseason. I really, same way, I don't know where he's going to go. Somebody said it's funny. They're like, what do you think will happen if, like, they've traded him to, like, I don't know if it was you guys or somebody else was saying, like, what do you think will happen if, like, they trade him to, like, the Packers? Like, do you think Aaron would stay just for that? Even if it was for a year. Like, would you stay with the Packers? Because now you have Devontae Adams and you have Julio.
Yeah.
Like, do you stay if you're Aaron Rodgers? Like,
yeah.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
Like, you went to the conference championship just last year.
You had Julio
Jones for a second round pick next year. Like, you have a monster run game. Like,
keep it a stack. Like, when was the last time they had a good first or second round pick in Green Bay? So it's like, you're not giving up much.
Even if you wanted to, even if they were like, we want a first round pick, okay, here's pick 28. Like,
yeah,
okay, it's basically a second round pick. Take it. Like, we're still going to build our line. We have Jamal, we have Aaron Jones, and we have AJ Dillon as our running game.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Devontae Adams on one side, Julio Jones on the other side. You have probably slot receiver options. Doesn't even matter. If those two are outside, like, as long as you can get like shore up your defense, like, you'll probably go back to the conference championship. And like I say, at least if you could do it for a year, like, and then if you guys both want to take up after a year, then whatever. But,
well, they're not going to complain because they just got a ring.
Exactly. I'm like, that's like I forgot who said it. When somebody said it to me, I was like, yo, that makes sense.
I heard it on Pat McAfee's show. I heard that exact scenario on McAfee's show.
It might have been where I got it. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but like, it makes a ton of sense. Like, would you stay?
It makes a lot of sense.
I'm just saying this. Pat McAfee, he has a lot more access to Aaron Rodgers than people think.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
AJ Hawk is there. He knows a lot more is going on than he wants to let loose. And it comes down to the fact that if he says anything, you know exactly where he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
The guy sits on
the
side of his screen.
That's why Mac, it really isn't, you notice he's not really saying anything about it. He's like, oh yeah, no, we're trying to get our sources, but our guy is not really coming through for us. I'm like, yeah, okay. Y'all have had some conversations, like, bro, like, hey, all right.
With him,
I'm gonna let y'all have that one.
With him, I feel like anytime it comes to Aaron Rodgers, you have to listen to like subtle little hints that he might give out, because I think he's like trying to like tell you things without like being obvious, you know.
I mean, and then look at the most recent interview he did on that late night show. He said it straight up. He said it has nothing to do with the players, it has nothing to do with Jordan, it has nothing to do with the fans, it has nothing to do with the team.
Mm-hmm.
His whole thing was the people that are running it are not making the moves necessary to win, that are not conducive to the culture. So if he's basically saying the front office is being stupid, that's all I heard. The front office is being stupid. Them coming out and pulling a deal for Julio is saying, yo, here's our move. Yeah. Here's our play. What's your next move? You think Aaron Rodgers is not hopping on a plane tomorrow from Hawaii with his fiance and getting back to cold ass Green Bay?
Like, this now it's a winning culture.
It's like, okay, so y'all serious. Okay, cool. Now that y'all serious, let's get it rocking.
Yeah, because Julio doesn't go in there as number one.
No, he doesn't have to.
He doesn't go to Green Bay as number one.
No, but it don't matter.
And that takes way more pressure off of him. Like, he didn't have to go in and put a 1,500 yard receiving and 12, 15 touchdowns. I got the best receiver in the NFL across from me, Devontae Adams. Let's just I want to put that out there. I got him across from me. I'm here, and then they drafted. I think they drafted Amari Rodgers or somebody in the draft or something like that.
They did. They do have Amari Rodgers.
Got your slot receiver now.
And they still got those other two guys that are that'd be a hell of a fourth and fifth receiver.
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard, Vando Stanley.
Aren't they both gone? I think they're both gone.
No, they're still on the team.
And Lazard's still there? I thought he was afraid.
Yep, all them dudes are still there from what I've seen.
Regardless, you got Julio on one side, you got Devonta on the other, you got Amari Rodgers in your slot, you got Rob Tonyan, you got you got like three good tight ends, plus you got your run game, and it's the Green Bay. You always rebuild your offensive line. Like, there's no reason to be like, all right, this isn't the winning culture anymore. Like, nah, like we're good now. Now shut up and play. Like,
yeah, then I guarantee you're not gonna hit nothing else on them.
No, like I said, even if you drop that first round pick, if you drop that pick, whatever pick 28, 29, or you give that first round pick, you sit here and go to Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, you won the trade. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Period.
It does not matter.
And they get picked 32?
Yeah.
So?
You got pick 32.
Second round pick. Yeah. Second round pick, man.
Like, that's basically a second round pick right there.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. You got a second round pick, I got a ring. I'll take the ring every time. Like,
and contend.
I'll trade pick 32 for a Super Bowl ring every year of my life. That's
every 10 out of 10.
Like
10 out of 10 times.
No questions asked.
No, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I couldn't tell you where the guy's gonna go, but like that scenario to me sounded like way too good. I mean, like as far as everything else going on, I don't like him leaving. Like I said, it's just surprising because it's like the era that he created. He's one of the greatest receivers to come out of there, and then probably in the league in general. And then like the whole Shannon Sharpe thing, like I'm not gonna touch too much on it. I think I pretty much agree with what you guys, and I think it was just kind of stupid for what he did, because you could kind of hear Julio talking any old type of way, and then like as soon as he said like you were on live TV, you heard Julio's voice drop to be like, all right, well, you could have told me that, I wouldn't have came as reckless about it, like.
Yeah.
But
I think that's Shannon's fault in a majority, because of the fact it's like, bro, if I got sources, I trust my sources, I know they're good, I got nothing to prove to you. If you don't want to believe me, that's on you.
Yeah.
I know, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, the only thing, like I said, I've been watching the thing. I've seen the whole AJ Brown stuff recruiting for the Titans, and I mean, again, that looks that sounds really good too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like that sounds good too. You go to the Titans, and again, like I mean, you'll be number one there. Is the only thing. That's the difference, though. There's a big difference with the Titans and the Packers. One thing, the Packers probably have the edge of the defense to the Titans, but if Julio goes to the Titans, he's number one receiver. Like, and you have Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback. You go to the Packers, you're number two receiver, and you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback.
You do have Derrick Henry as your running back, though.
You do. But on the Packers, you have Aaron Jones and you have A.J. Dillon. So you still have a good run game, though.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean,
it's King Henry, though, man. I mean.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The only thing is the Titans, I don't know if they replaced their tight end situation, because I know they lost Jonnu, and then I think both teams lost offensive line help, though. Because I believe the Chargers signed, I think it was Corey Lindsey, the center from the Packers. And then the Titans, I know the Titans, obviously the whole thing with the Isaiah Wilson situation, that's old or whatever, but I know the Titans were kind of in flux with their offensive line for a little bit too. So I mean, there's definitely plus and minuses to the situation. I'm
gonna throw a name out here, a team where I think he might fit nice. You guys tell me if he's coming in as a 1 or a 2. The Ravens.
I was thinking the Ravens, but I think he'd be a 1. Because
he's a 1. He's a 1. Because they don't have no alphas on that receiving core.
Yeah, I was about to say, who you lining up against?
I mean, again, the only other guy I can think of that has never really proven to be a number 2, but a great number 3 is Sammy Watkins, who they picked up. And then you got the 2 rookies. You got Bateman, and they picked up somebody else.
Oh, that's right. They did draft Bateman. That's
right. They got Brown as a receiver. But he's the same thing as the Brown.
He's a deep threat number 2 guy.
That's what I was saying. I was like, he's just like Brown over in Titans. He's not a number 1. He's a number 2.
But he's way smaller than AJ Brown now.
Yeah, like he's way smaller.
Yeah, he's like 5'8", 160 something. He's mad small.
I mean, he put on weight, so he may be like
Hollywood Brown.
175 now, but
Yeah,
he's not a number one.
AJ
Like-
Brown be dragging people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like AJ Brown is more along that Devonta Smith kind of mold, where like even though he's small, like he can be a number one.
AJ Brown is jacked as shit. He's not.
That's
small.
what I'm saying is those type of players where he's small in stature, but he's like
height wise, he's short.
height wise. That's what I mean. He's short. Excuse me, I shouldn't say small. He's short.
Yeah,
but he still gets it done. Marquise he's electric, but
Marquise reminds me of a John Brown. That's what he reminds me of. Honestly. Like Julio goes to the Ravens, he'd be a one. Like that's the thing. Like if you're gonna put him somewhere, you want to put him somewhere where he doesn't have to be. He could be a two, and he'd be fine being a two because he's like I could put up half the stats, be on a better team, and go deeper in the playoffs. It's just less wear and tear on my body. Like he can go. Listen, if he can go to the Lions and put up 1,400 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns, but at the end of the day, when they're 2-14, what they're doing besides whatever. I made a Pro Bowl. Great. I don't want these anymore. I can do this all I want.
Seattle. Seahawks.
Seattle. I mean, it'd be nice if Russell Wilson could stay off his back. Like
that's a part of it. It's like, would he be a compliment to that wide receiver room? Obviously, but is that what's gonna help them the most? Probably not.
I mean,
they just locked up Tyler Lockett. They have a decent run game. They have DK on the come up. So I mean, would he be nice as like a mentor for DK? Sure. But
I mean, I was thinking, what if you put him on like the Bears or the Vikings?
The Vikings would be interesting. The Bears, if they start Justin Fields, sure.
That's what I was going to say. It's like the Bears, they need to get their quarterback situation resolved.
If you put Justin Fields as quarterback and you got Allen Robinson on one side and Julio Jones on the other side, that's not bad.
But again, you minimize rookie mistakes, but you still got to deal with rookie mistakes.
Oh, of course. But again, the Bears were a playoff team last year, so they have a winning mentality. They were Big 20, so they were a playoff.
Yeah,
with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it would qualify technically as a winner, and they have 37 tight ends to throw at Atlanta. So probably, I can give you 3 tight ends, a 2, a 5, and a 7.
I mean,
the one team that doesn't need him is the Arizona Cardinals, though. That's the one team that doesn't need him.
And D-Hop talking about, I'll take a pay cut.
D-Hop definitely recruited him too. I mean, shoot, if you're the Vikings,
that's one of those where I'm like, Jesus.
I mean, shoot, if you're the Vikings and you got freaking what's the name on the outside, they could put Justin Jefferson back inside on the slot like he is. He can get a slot receiver, and then you got Julio on the outside, and you got other man Thielen on the other outside. Like you got a nice little receiver core. Then you got
That's not terrible, but again, that's not the Vikings' problem.
So and the thing too is Thielen doesn't really make them last year. Thielen is not a 2; he's like a 3. So that's where he belongs.
Thielen was banged up though.
Was he?
Yeah, he was banged up.
Oh, okay.
He was pretty banged up last year.
Banged up.
But again, the Vikings have proven time and time again it has nothing to do with their receivers.
Oh, Kirk Cousins sucks. We all know that.
Oh, that and their defense. They keep losing pieces.
And not replacing them.
Because I mean, I get it. Like, who really wants to go and play in Minnesota willingly? But
yeah, but they're in a dome though, man. It's like you're outside though.
That's true too.
Who wants to go and play in Minnesota willingly?
You still gotta get inside though.
You still have to reside there. For at least a week.
You know what team I was thinking, which would you guys would probably hate if I said it, but I might say it anyway. If you go to the Dolphins, that would suck.
I was thinking about that too. That was one of the first teams I thought about.
That would suck for you guys.
It would, but they don't need them though. Like they got the receivers already though.
I mean, listen, you got Devontae Parker on one side. You got Will Fuller on a 1-year deal if you can stay healthy.
Right.
And you can put Jalen Waddle on the slot.
Yep.
So
that's another thing that makes and they're still in play for Deshaun Watson. That's what we have to keep in mind. Is that like they could pull a deal for both guys. So I'm looking at it like that's still a very real possibility. I don't think Julio would go for it until the Deshaun Watson deal is done.
Yeah, and like I said, they're going to be post June 1st, which is Tuesday.
Well, I mean, truthfully, you can do the deal and you can just have it roll over to post June 1st. Like it doesn't officially get done till after June 1st, but you can still do the deal and have the deal in place.
You could, but like again, like it's gonna take time, which is June 1st is like next Tuesday.
Yeah, like it's not far away.
It's not far away. Like, so they could be in communications for all this stuff right now, as far as we know.
I mean, again, so as far as we know, according to Shefty, he went to them, requested a trade before the draft. Let's keep that in mind. So this stuff has been in the works since pre-draft. So I'm sure that, on top of the teams that had the capital initially, there are teams now that are probably going to call more a team like the Vikings, for example, because they have more assets that they can now move because they drafted a bunch of players. They haven't signed any of them, so you can just trade draft rights at this point. So that kind of changes the playing field. But again, then there's this whole tampering thing. So now he probably won't get moved until after they figure out this whole Shannon Sharpe thing.
Nah.
Which is kind of the Deshaun Watson thing.
Well, they said they have to press charges, so they haven't pressed charges yet. From the statement I read today, it said that if charges are pressed, then they could be facing so and so $2,000 blah blah. So I think they have to press charges for anything to really happen. So it's something.
So they would have to press charges for tampering?
I believe so.
Because that's the only charge I can think of would be tampering.
Yeah, I know. That's from what I read earlier. I have to read it and get some clarity on it also. But from what I read earlier, so it was a little excerpt somebody shared. I want to say it was Adam Schefter, but I'm not 100% sure. But it said something, and it was highlighted, and it said, in order to blah blah, it had to be, it had charged something. A complaint had to be filed in order for the misdemeanor to be carried out, because it's only a misdemeanor of like $2,000. That's what they're saying. So that's the main thing. Like I have to find that piece I found earlier, but. It says like a misdemeanor charge of tampering, I believe, and so I wouldn't be anything crazy. They said if it's filed. So if it does not file, then I guess they're good. I don't know how Fox is gonna be around like Atlanta's game access. I don't know if they're gonna change anything up for that. I mean, and the thing that sucks is that the thing that kind of sucks on all this is that they're talking about restricting Atlanta's access or game access on Fox. Julio's not even going to be there. Like, you don't want to be there. So, like,
this is what I don't get. So Fox has the NFC games. Why would Fox want him gone out of the NFC? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. Like I was reading that, and I was like, it was like you're gonna restrict like Atlanta, and I was like, why would you restrict Atlanta? Like, I mean, I don't know. You don't really. I mean, if Julio's still there when the season starts, then I get it. But like, if he's not there, then don't attack Atlanta. They didn't put him up to this. Like, that's like the main thing that I read. I was just like, it doesn't make sense. Like, depending on where he goes, the guy could be playing for the fucking Bengals in 2 months, and you're gonna sit here and restrict Atlanta's media access or their game access or whatever permits and everything. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. So. I don't know. It also interesting, very interesting.
Oh, it's not just the Falcons. All right, so this is what I'm seeing right now. The NFL has its ways of handling its TV partners. The Falcons could quietly seek an on-air apology or some other redress from Fox. If not forthcoming, Fox could end up in the doghouse among the league's TV partners, which include obviously NBC, CBS, and ESPN. That could mean less access and cooperation from the team or other NFL clubs. Or the worst case scenario for an NFL TV partner, the bad blood could lead to poor game matchups.
So So it just means ain't nobody gonna be watching Fox.
Pretty much.
I mean, I don't watch Fox anyway.
I mean,
honestly.
NFL is like, we got paid already, so it's like you're getting shitty ass games for the whole season. That's it. You know.
I mean, the Giants are on Fox, so I have to watch it. I gotta watch the Giants on Fox.
Yeah, but they're probably gonna put like the shitty ass games on it, like maybe all like who's there? Let me see. Like all Washington football team games and Dallas Cowboy games.
Nothing I want to see. Nothing I want to see. Well, I mean, like I said, we're definitely going to keep updating and talking about situations as it unfolds. I think that's it, though. At least for this episode.
I was going to say on a lighter note, I did see something earlier that Jay-Z might be gathering his assets and, you know, getting his money together to try to buy a piece of the Washington football team, which only to me says that they're probably going to be moving forward with like the naming process or something. So that news should come out soon. But it's just interesting that someone like Jay-Z, who you don't hear too much about anymore, is getting his money together to try and buy Washington.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of interesting because
that is interesting.
Yeah,
because again, they got to the playoffs. They have that young defense. They got some really nice pieces in the offseason. We're still trying to figure out who the quarterback is, but all that being said, it's definitely it's a smart, you know, he's a smart businessman in the sense of he sees the trend. Yeah. And he sees the fact that it's an up-and-coming team that doesn't have a lot of fanfare right now, so that he can buy in for low and cash out if they make another good run and make a big run, or they get a really good quarterback that they can market the team around.
Well, don't forget the issues with Dan Snyder too.
Yeah, but again, if you get a guy like Jay-Z that has enough weight from the business world, that's the kind of guy that, you know, buys a stake and slowly but surely, when people try to remove Dan Snyder and they're looking for a replacement, you know, Jay-Z's a guy who, again, has built his empire enough to have that kind of credit to be in consideration. And that would be, to say history making would be an understatement.
Yeah, he'll find partners like A-Rod did, and it's fine, right? But he's got his foot in the door already. And exactly. I'm interested to see if he does that, if he goes like, hey, I get first dibs on if the team goes for sale for any reason.
Right.
You know, and maybe like at a reduced rate. Like we've heard scenarios, Joe, you know, David Beckham, where like in the contract is like, hey, if you're gonna buy a team or buy this, I'll buy at a certain cost before I'll have first right of refusal. Right. You know, so if Dan Snyder gets pushed out, they go like, Jay-Z, team's up for sale, and this is the price for you right now. Let's say 1.5 billion. But if we go to the market, it's gonna be like 2.5. So we're giving you a 1.5.
And two, like we saw the effect that Jay-Z had on the Brooklyn franchise. Like we're seeing the fruits of that effect right now, where like he went in with a basically unknown owner. The owner was incompetent. He got out before stuff hit the fan, but having Jay-Z's name attached to Brooklyn during the move gave it a certain level of credibility and really set up Brooklyn for the success that it's having now. So like Jay-Z can have that effect on a brand. To do that with a team that technically doesn't even have a name would be incredible. And then that would it potentially puts him in the driver's seat to be the first ever NFL Black owner. Which again, at that point, that puts him in the driver's seat for just about every free agent there is.
Yeah, and Jay-Z sold like title.
Yeah.
At least 80% stake of it for $350 million. So he's got his he's got
assets.
He's got
he's one of the biggest wine distributors internationally in the world in terms of entertainment. He has one of the biggest wine brands up there with Braun and Wade and all those guys, because he's the guy that brought all those guys in. So like he's established more so as a businessman than as an artist that we know him. So I only bring it up because, again, you look at the impact that he's had on basketball, the impact that he's had with like Rock Nation in terms of like the agents and all that other stuff. You start to look at the fact that if he's a guy that's looking to buy into the football team, it has the potential to change the demographics of who controls what in football, which is something that we all thought a couple of years ago could never happen. I just think it's really interesting, and it makes Washington a team that honestly no one is a second thought to a lot of people. Like, it makes it a player now. Where like now people are going to want to watch the Washington football team. They're going to want to buy into it because Jay-Z's name is attached to it. Which, again, sorry for you guys, that almost puts them on par with the New York Giants as a brand.
Yeah, I was thinking it's interesting, since it's interesting considering he does like the whole Rock Nation, which is what I believe is like based in New York, I believe. And then you're gonna go get Washington football team in DC and try to. It's like your agency is based in New York, but you're gonna go to DC. So it's almost like you're taking people that are signed to you that are based in New York. You're gonna try to move them and ship them to like Washington. I'm just like it's just like kind of interesting. Like
I don't think you have to though. I
No,
honestly
no,
don't
you
think you have to.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying like it's gonna be a draw there, like
for sure.
Like if you have Saquon Barkley, who signed, I believe he signed the Rock Nation, like, and you sit up here and within Saquon's next 2-3 years, he sits up here and becomes a free agent, and JG's like, well, I'm part of Washington football.
Yeah, I'm sure.
On there, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure there's something around there. I think he might have to like cut that department off for football agents.
All he has to do is sell Rock Nation.
Yeah.
Or sell his stake in Rock Nation. Like, they can still keep the name, because again, I think Rockefeller in general is his brand, but he's so hands off in terms of like all the assets and stuff. It may not be a conflict of interest. I'm not sure, but again, we associate Rock Nation with Jay-Z. There's no saying like someone else could definitely be owning and running it right now, and he just has a stake in it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think he can have a stake at all. Anything attached to that.
Which again, I don't know if that's something that he's even that heavily involved in anymore. So he may have already begun the process of getting rid of his stake and giving over his control to his people. Because again, he doesn't have to directly be involved to still benefit from Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? And I just think it's interesting because, again, that gives the Washington football team something positive to be talked about. And think about it this way, having Jay-Z be the first ever African-American to own a football team, like if his legacy wasn't already cemented, that takes it to a different level.
Yeah, because Diddy tried it with the Panthers. Right.
Like, it's been tried before, but it would just be an amazing feat, and I'm not gonna say it would change the foundation of football, but it would definitely shake it. It would definitely shake it, and it would kind of give players a light to what they've been asking for in terms of representation ever since really the last couple of years. It definitely does open the door for the changing of the landscape and kind of changing the idea of like the old boys club and kind of diversifying it. Because again, The Rock already kind of did it with the XFL and buying the XFL and the structure that he has in place. But Jay-Z buying Washington would take that to a whole nother level and definitely, I think, change the game in a lot of ways.
That's definitely something that we're going to definitely have to watch for in the near to, I guess, a couple of years out kind of future. But I mean, Paul, you got anything else? Like, I know we got a little off topic with the whole Julio situation, but Got anything else, or are we good for the night? Because I know I lied to the fans again. I told them we were going to be short, and we were probably an hour.
That is short for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm good. And I don't think there's anything else to report right now in regards to this.
All right. Well, we will end it here before we talk for another hour. All right. It's been another episode of Nosebleed Section. Again, I am your host, Joe. I'm joined by Paul and Jade tonight. Thank y'all. We will be doing more of these, just doing some current events, things going on in the NFL. Guys, check out Court Kings tomorrow. Paul and Jay, and hopefully we can get some other people on. We're doing some live NBA coverage for the playoffs, so they'll have their thoughts on the current situation with the playoffs and I guess the games going on tomorrow. Who's playing tomorrow, Jay? You know?
I think the Nets are playing tomorrow.
No, tomorrow.
No, you guys play.
We play on Friday.
I got it. Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee and Miami, Phoenix and LA, and Denver and Portland.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll have some
interesting games right there.
Definitely. We'll have some live coverage and some feedback from the games and the playoffs so far. But as always, guys, thank you for watching and listening out. Please feel free, comment, like, subscribe, do all that, Facebook, Instagram. Comment, let us know your thoughts on everything going on, the Julio situation. Tell us things that we didn't know or we might have messed up on or missed. But other than that, y'all have a good night, man.